Hi, everyone. Amy Wood here, and I'm getting an opportunity to bring you this interview with Mary, who is caring right now for someone who is COVID positive, COVID-19 positive. And Mary, I know this road has been trying, I can only imagine, because you also are a mother of a special needs son. So you're trying to
Yes.
care for this isolating situation and your son and you and keep everybody else healthy. I know this is challenging. So I want to start at the beginning. Like, what happened with your husband? What were his first symptoms? What do you remember about how this all started?
No symptoms really until Tuesday a week ago. Tuesday evening, he began to develop a high fever, aches and pains, coughing. By Wednesday morning, we called the doctor and he was in there. Early appointment. They tested for the flu, it was negative, chest x-ray negative, so they tested for the virus.
And so was there any
And we
delay in that? Was there any delay in that, or did that happen like that?
The test actually did not come back until this past Monday. We got the call at 8 o'clock this Monday morning that he tested positive.
And were you surprised, or did you kind of suspect at that point that must be what you're dealing with?
We wondered because all the other tests were negative. So we wondered. So we took precautions right then. He's been self-isolated all ever since he got back from the doctor.
And so, what are you doing to do that? Because it's not easy. I mean, it's harder than it sounds. So, describe sort of how this has been going.
It is a little difficult. He is isolated in our bedroom that has its own bathroom. We
Perfect.
have a tray outside of his door that I bring his food. I try to bring him paper plates, paper cups. But if I have to bring a real dish with hot soup or something, he sets it back outside the door and I handle it with gloves and bleach it and then put it in the dishwasher. Um, my son and we just FaceTime him for a little Bible study every day and prayer and talking to him. And so we're keeping our distance, but it's hard.
It is
Yeah.
hard, right? Talk a little bit about that because other families are going to walk your walk. And how down in the dumps can you get, and how have you been pulling yourself out?
Well, I have been just trusting in the Lord, reading my Bible a lot, praying. I love to sing. I don't claim to be a professional, but I love to sing songs for the Lord. Those, of course, we can't have church. So I've been trying to encourage people that way, as well as myself and my son and my husband. He hears me in the other room
Mhm.
and he thanks me for singing those songs.
And for your husband, as he's been going through the medical side of this, his experience of being sick, describe what it has been like over these many days. So on Tuesday, you said a week ago you started with the original symptoms, and what has happened in those days since?
Yes. For several days, he did carry 103 fever straight for several days. One day it did go up to 104. We've been keeping contact with the doctor every day, just calling him, letting him know how he's doing. Um, just a lot of coughing. His oxygen level, we have pulse ox here, and so we can check everything. And because of our son. So his oxygen has been 91, 93, which isn't terrible, but it's not the best.
Right.
But he has not had to be hospitalized, thank the Lord.
Thank the
Um,
Lord.
yes. And we have put cleaning supplies in his room too. He tries to keep it as clean as he can.
Sure.
Um, and sleeping, just sleep, sleep, sleep
Yeah.
when he can, when he can.
Yeah. And is the coughing what keeps him awake pretty much? Is that the problem? It's just the coughing?
Yes, ma'am. The coughing is really bad. If someone's had the flu or bronchitis, you know how they say a cough can hang around forever? Well, he's got that horrible, horrible cough, and that keeps him up. I think everything gets worse at night. I think so. So, yeah, it keeps him up at night.
When it comes to some of the things we've been hearing these reports that people lose their sense of smell or taste days before they show symptoms. has he reported anything like that happening to him? Has he heard about those reports? He's probably sleeping too much to hear that stuff.
Right. He hasn't mentioned any of that to me. Never told me he lost taste or smell.
Okay.
But again, he hasn't been able to eat a lot during this time either. But he hasn't complained about the food that he eats. So I don't know if it's just different from one person to another.
Yeah, I'm sure it is to a degree, right? What about, the one thing that they talk about is that with the more severe cases of COVID, you wind up with sort of a breathing issue or feeling like you can't breathe as well. Has he had those kind of symptoms or not really?
There was one day that he did. We were concerned. He was checking his oxygen level. He called the doctor, and the doctor heard him over the phone. And I think at one time he was maybe almost panicking, because of this. So the doctor said, just try to calm down and try to rest, and hopefully his breathing would get better. And it did.
Thank goodness.
It did. Yes.
So how are you doing, Mary? Are you okay?
I am. I'm a little tired, but I'm not complaining. I love my family. Wouldn't trade them for the world.
Absolutely.
And I'm not sick. With my having to spray Lysol and everything around the house, it does affect my asthma some, and of course my son's allergies. But other than that, we've been okay.
Well, it sounds like you've been doing a good job of doing what they tell you to do with trying to keep that person isolated and trying to keep everything clean around you.
Yes.
Are there any lessons to be learned for other families as they walk through this? Because, more and more cases are being reported.
I think the best thing I can tell someone is no matter how hard it seems, you need to try to stay calm. Because I think when my husband was almost panicking at that one time because he was scared. We don't know what to expect. That can make you feel a lot worse too. So try to be calm, encourage yourself, pray, trust the Lord. That's the best thing I can say is pray and trust God, because I know He's going to get us through this.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot of support too. Make sure you have a lot of support. We have pastors and family and friends that drop things off at our door. So I'm thankful for that.
And so they're bringing you like the food you might need or any other medications, or you were talking about how you were running low with like masks and gloves and things like that. Is that working out? Are you getting what you need in that regard? Because people don't need masks when they're healthy, but when someone's sick, you need a mask.
Yes, we have plenty of gloves just because of my son's supplies. I am starting to run out of masks. I am down to one. Okay. I don't use them a lot because I'm not around my husband, sure. But I'm going to try to check. If I need some, I'm sure I can get some in the next few days.
Absolutely. When it comes to the way this works, when you got the report that you were positive, or that your husband was positive on that Monday, from that point, had you had any contact with DHEC before that? And once that positive came out, what happens with DHEC? Like, what can people expect in terms of the contact they have, the checking they do on you?
Okay, we had not had any contact before. I got the call at 8 o'clock Monday morning from the doctor that it was positive. As soon as we hung up, the doctor contacted DHEC. DHEC has been on the phone with my husband. They don't talk to him every day, but they did leave their number for us to contact them. And they also, they also sent me an email with a fact and a precaution sheet that really helped a lot.
Yeah, so it helps you know exactly what to do and how to handle this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And as far as the way he got it, you guys have no idea, right? You've done sort of normal things that you do, and right. No one that's been abroad or anything, right?
Right. We haven't done anything, what you would say, special in the last few weeks. We haven't been to any parks or, nothing really special, nothing out of the ordinary. So
and we just so don't know. You have no idea.
No, ma'am.
Yeah. And I guess that's going to be the case more and more, that it's like, how did I get it if I wind up getting it, when it comes to his prognosis, what are they saying about when he will start to feel better? I know you talked about all those temperatures being super high for a week, basically, but today you had a little bit of a break in that?
Yes, ma'am. It has come down today, and this is day nine,
Oh.
9 or so, something like that. I lose track of time. But he should start being on the mend now. It is still going to take a few days.
Mhm.
And then when he is symptom free without maintenance medications for 72 hours, then he can come out of the room.
Wow.
But he has to be totally no symptoms with no meds for 72 hours.
Which
Before
symptoms meaning, I mean, what? Cough, meaning temperature? What are they asking?
fever. Of course, he may have a little cough, but he can't have that exacerbating cough that he's had. It has to be almost gone.
Gotcha.
So, yes.
How's your son doing? Is he like processing all of this? I'm sure he's like, what is going on? Why can't I see dad?
I try my best to explain it, and I think he understands to a certain extent. He loves the Lord, and we talk about let's just pray for Dad and let's pray for our nation. This is just something we got to get through, and God's going to help us. And he gives me a smile, when I tell him that. So, and he pretty much stays to his room, his man cave, he calls it. So, he seems to be doing well as of now.
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad. Has Dee have in any way like traced contacts? They talk about that where we trace your contacts and we like anybody you've seen in the last 2 weeks, we notify. I mean, is that kind of thing happening, or what was the result of that?
Not that we know of. They did ask if I had been to work or any other places within a certain time, and was anyone sick. And of course, I told them no. None of our family or friends, they're not sick. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't know. We just don't know.
Wow.
Hmm.
But we're thankful you're not sick and that none of your contacts are
Yes.
sick either. And we will pray
Thank
that it stays that way and that you guys emerge out of this hopefully sooner rather than later, right? I mean, it is.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Did they say to expect it to last about 2 weeks in terms of when he can finally get out, or what did they estimate?
That's what they're saying. They're counting back to the day that he actually showed the symptoms, and they're saying, look at about 2 weeks, hopefully. So
Okay.
we're looking at counting up. We probably got 4 more days, maybe, or 5.
Oh, when it
Before
comes, people have been very silly about the hoarding that has been going on. But when it comes to really being ready for this to happen at your house, what did you actually need? Like when you look back on this whole thing?
Well, we need, some Lysol and things like that. The tissue paper, I'm sorry, but I didn't really hoard that,
Thank goodness.
Yes, but Lysol, peroxide, bleach, cleaners, things like that. Alcohol, rubbing alcohol, just things like that. But again, you don't have to hoard them. Just make
Right.
sure
Just
that you
have
have
some.
enough on hand. Yes, just have some.
Yeah.
Don't
Thank you.
panic.
Yes, no panicking allowed, everybody. Mary, you have been a picture of strength and encouragement, and God bless you. And I know it's tiring, I'm sure. And we are thinking about you and praying for you and your family. Please send your husband on the next FaceTime a hello, and we will definitely, when he's feeling better, we would love to pull him on and speak to him as well, so he can give us his firsthand account of what it really feels like.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, and God bless.
God bless.
Bye-bye.